So I recently watched 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later because 28 Years Later was coming out, and when the trailer got released for this movie, it was being really hyped up, and many people were saying it's going to be a really good movie. And it was like really famous when the trailer got released, and I never seen the first two movies. That's why I saw the first two movie last week. I mean, you don't have to watch the first two movies in order to understand the story of this movie, but I still like the first two movies, so it was worth my time. And going into this movie, I was like really hyped up because I really enjoyed the first two, but it turns out it wasn't that good, and I was disappointed. Like, obviously, there are some good things in this movie, but most of the things are bad. And I know it's rated like really high on Rotten Tomatoes and other websites, and many people are saying it's one of the best movies they've seen this year. And I don't know how. Like, if you like the movie, that's good for you. I love that, but I really don't think it's that good, and I think it's definitely the weakest in the franchise. So I'm gonna be talking about some spoilers, and I'm gonna be talking about the things that I don't like. Then I'll be getting into things that I like. So let's talk about characters. I think characters are okay in this movie, but they're definitely not as good as they were in the first two movies. Like in the first two movies, I really liked the characters, and I think those characters were good. But in this movie, they're not that good. Like again, they're not trash, but they're not that good. Like my if I had to pick my favorite character, I'd go for Spike and the Doctor. They also do a good job with the Alpha, and yeah, well, we don't see much of him. We do see enough of him, but he doesn't talk or he doesn't do more than that. So we don't like know much about him. We just know he's like really aggressive, this scary guy. But I think they do a good job with him anyway. The story I think is okay. Like it's not the best story in the franchise, and the movie gets really boring time to time. And like when there's some action scenes or some suspenseful scene, sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. Like let's say, so every time characters just take a break and they just sit down or just take a break and they start have this conversation, those conversations are just so boring. Like they're talking about stuff that actually no one gives a fuck. Like this guy Eric they meet, he starts talking about internet that like other two people have never don't know about the internet, and Eric knows about the internet. Like okay, and it's just so boring. Like in the first two movies, when characters were taking a break and they were having a conversation, like they were actually like wholesome. They were having funny conversation, and they were making jokes, and when they were being sad, when they were talking about like real shit, they were talking about that. But in this movie, every time characters like start talking and like when they're taking a break and all that, it's just boring. Well, it was for me anyway. But I think they do a good job with the dad and the kid relationship. So Jamie's dad and Spike is the kid. I think their relationship is good for some of the parts, but for many parts it's just like not well done. So many time in this movie, characters will do something that like doesn't even build up to that point, and it's just really out of character pretty much. So, for example, when Jamie slaps his kid, that actually makes no sense because they've never shown us that the dad was kind of aggressive. He was a bit aggressive, but they never shown us that he would like do something, abuse his kid. But out of nowhere, he just slaps his kid, and then he starts like being really aggressive towards his kid, like which is stupid because they never kind of show us like they never like build up to that point, like the suspense and the story. It just fucking happens, which is kind of stupid, I think. Also, so this dad, Jamie, we see him like from the start of the movie for like 30 minutes or maybe 20 minutes. After that, we never see him until the end of the movie, which isn't a bad thing, but just so you know, we're not gonna see much of him in the movie. So let's talk about suspense. Like that's why many people would kind of go for this movie because suspense. I don't think it's that good. I generally don't think it's as good as the first two movies. Like many times when they're being chased by zombies, they're really far, and you just know they're kind of gonna get away. Like there are close encounters, but like there's not many. The only time shit gets really like serious when the alpha shows up. Like that's the only time like like stakes are high and shit is really suspenseful. But other than that, I really don't think it's that suspenseful. Like you're not gonna be fucking sitting there and shaking and pissing yourself because the movie is so scary. Because it's not. There are some jump scares, but I don't think they're gonna get you like the first two movies did. So the biggest complaint I'd have in this movie is the ending. The ending is actually one of the biggest bullshit things I have seen in a while. So, like, well, this is a big spoiler, so I'm just gonna say it. So the ending, this guy Spike, he's running away from the infected, and he gets stuck in this spot where he kind of has nowhere to go, and he's running out of arrows, and those infected are coming to him. And then this guy out of nowhere comes to him, and like I don't remember exactly what he said, but he starts saying cringy, like really cringe lines, and start acting so like cartoonish, I suppose, or something like that. Like some weird, funny character, and then he comes with this squad, and then the squad starts fucking killing the infected, and then I shit you not, they starts fucking backflipping and jumping for no reason, and start fighting like the Avengers. And then like the ending is just really fucking cringe in this movie, like really cringe. And I think the ending was really bad in this movie anyway. Now, having all said that, there are some things that I like. There are some really, really cool shots in this movie. Like cinematography hits really hard sometimes. But that's pretty much it. Like some shots are really good in this movie, I think. Also, one thing that I kind of hate. So every time when someone shoots an infected with an arrow and they get a headshot, the camera just moves in like a position, like maybe an opposite position or something, like straight away, which is weird. Like I don't get what's the point of doing that because it doesn't even look cool. I don't think anyone enjoyed that. I really don't see the point of that. And that happens pretty much every time they get an headshot and the camera just fucking moves. Like, okay, fucking, like, I don't see the point of doing that, honestly, because it wasn't looking cool. Anyway, that's about it. Like, I don't think it's that good of a movie. I know it's rated high, but I would not go in with high expectations. You could love it, but I don't think you will. That's it, anyways. Yeah.